welcome back to Central Cell Online. My name's Tom.
And I'm Beth.
And welcome back to our wonderful dining room.
Yes, welcome to you guys if you're streaming in with us this evening. This is our fourth session of our Joseph series, and we are being joined by youth groups from across Aylesbury.
Yes, hello, welcome back everybody. If you are not in a youth group right now and you're watching from the comfort of your own home, that's great, but we'd love it if you would like to join in with a youth group. If you check the description below, you can register with Aylesbury Vale Youth for Christ, and we will hook you up with a lovely youth group that you can join with yourself every week. So the plan for Central Cell Online is to guide you guys through sections of the Bible, because at Aylesbury Vale Youth for Christ, we are convinced that when you look in the Bible, you start to figure out who God is, you find out about Jesus, although admittedly not in Genesis, and how to make the most out of life. And so at the moment we are in the book of Genesis, which is the first book in the Bible, and we're looking at the life of Joseph. If you've got a physical Bible, that's brilliant, grab it and start flicking through, or you can download the YouVersion app, and we've linked that in the description below.
So there'll be 3 sections to each evening. We will hear Bible reading being read, we will then hear some thoughts from some young people across the town, and then we will hand it over to you guys to discuss in your groups.
Yeah, and then we always end with 2 different things. The first is just a chance to have a think through what you've thought about and what might have stuck out for you, and then the second thing is we always have a chance to pray in our youth groups. But if you don't normally pray, don't be nervous, it doesn't really matter. It's pretty chilled.
Yep, so we always start with an icebreaker, so we're going to do that now.
I think my favourite gadget would have to be the weapon from Johnny English.
Probably a briefcase with a hidden camera inside.
I've always thought that a lipstick laser or gun would be quite cool.
The pen, you click twice and boom, something fires out.
Because it'd be really cool if you could just look at your phone or watch and you'll be able to see what the camera's seeing.
I like the idea of being very feminine but deadly at the same time.
So you don't need to be there to know where they are and what they're doing. You just have to look on your gadget. That would be really cool.
Johnny English, great films, I would recommend. First 2, great. Third one, a bit disappointing.
Cool stuff, welcome back. So, what would your favourite gadget be?
Well, I've been reading these books with Toby, and this person, he's got this like hoverboard thing, which I don't know, you get it out and then you stand on it and then it just like goes really fast and it like takes you like to where you need to go. That just looks super fun.
What, is it like voice activated?
Yeah,
like
it's
Alexa?
Just like
go to Tesco's.
Just like takes you there really fast.
It's pretty much the only place we're allowed right now is Tesco's. Good, yeah, that's quite a good idea. Yeah, I thought I'd like a shirt, right, that you put on, but when you press one of the buttons, you get like a full body force field. So you just go boo, and it goes, and then you're just like totally.
What, like Iron Man, like.
I guess, yeah. I don't think I've seen anybody that has one of those. Anyway, so what we're doing, we are looking in the book of Genesis this evening at the story of Joseph. So grab a Bible if you've got one, flip it open, get the YouVersion app out. Just to say, it's probably worth having the text in front of you as Lydia's going to read it for us this evening, because the sections are a bit longer because we want you to understand the fullness of the story.
Yes, so we're picking up the story after Joseph has been put in charge of the whole of Egypt, and his brothers, who previously tried to kill him, have come to buy grain because there's a famine where they are, but they don't know that it's him. Dun, dun, dun. Here's Lydia.
Genesis 42. When Jacob heard that the grain was available in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why are you standing around looking at one another? I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy enough grain to keep us alive. Otherwise, we'll die." So Joseph's 10 older brothers went down to Egypt to buy grain, but Jacob wouldn't let Joseph's younger brother, Benjamin, go with them, for fear that some harm might come to him. So Jacob's sons arrived in Egypt with others to buy food, for the famine was in Canaan as well. Since Joseph was governor of all Egypt and in charge of selling grain to all the people, it was to him that his brothers came. When they arrived, they bowed before him with their faces to the ground. Joseph recognized his brothers, but he pretended to be a stranger and spoke harshly to them. "Where are you from?" he demanded. "From the land of Canaan," they replied. "We have come to buy food." Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they didn't recognize him, and he remembered the dreams he'd had about them many years before. He said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see how valuable our land has become." "No, my lord," they exclaimed. "Your servants have simply come to buy food. We are all brothers, members of the same family. We are honest men, sir. We are not spies." "Yes, you are," Joseph insisted. "You have come to see how vulnerable our land has become." "Sir," they said, "there are exactly 12 of us. We, your servants, are all brothers, sons of a man living in the land of Canaan. Our youngest brother is back there with our father right now, and one of our brothers is no longer with us." But Joseph insisted, "As I said, you are spies. This is how I will test your story. I swear by the life of Pharaoh that you will never leave Egypt unless your younger brother comes here. One of you must go and get your brother. I'll keep the rest of you here in prison. Then we'll find out whether or not your story is true. By the life of Pharaoh, if it turns out you don't have a younger brother, then I'll know you are spies." So Joseph put them all in prison for 3 days.
Cool stuff. Thank you for that, Lydia. Lydia is going to read for us this evening, so we're going to see her a little bit later on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hear from some young people about some of the stuff in Genesis 42. Sophie, Harry and Sophia, who did the Icebreaker a second ago, and then we're going to throw it open to the youth groups for you guys to discuss together.
Yeah, so the questions are relatively straightforward. You have the first one. The first one is quite easy. The second one is kind of medium, and then the third one is kind of difficult, but go for it anyway.
Yeah, and just remember, if you're watching along with us right now, and you get into really good discussion, but the time's ticking down, but you want to finish what you're talking about, please just do feel free to pause the video and come back to us whenever you like, maybe even never. We won't be offended.
Yeah, and don't worry about answering all the questions. You don't have to do them all. Just go with what your youth leader tells you.
Yeah, cool stuff. So here's a chance to think through some stuff in Genesis 42.
Yes, that seems to be quite a regular occurrence with me.
Yeah, I have a few times actually, and it's weird knowing that they know you and they recognise you, but you don't recognise them.
Yes, that has definitely happened to me before, when I've been talking to someone and I've had no idea who they are.
My parents seem to know everyone, so I can often be walking in the village or pop into Tesco's and someone will be like, "Hi, how are you?" And I might not have any idea who they are.
You know you've seen them somewhere before, but you're not sure where, and it's a bit socially awkward.
That's happened quite a few times in my church, actually.
You'd bump into an old great aunt
Typically an old person comes up to me.
and they know everything about you, and it can feel quite unnerving.
You know, they're lovely, but I've got no idea who they are, but they seem to know all about me. So yeah, that's quite funny.
Hey, so we are looking at whether you've been falsely accused.
Sure, yeah. I don't know if this happened to anybody else in life, but when I was in primary school, every now and again a teacher would come into like the whole school assembly when everybody's there, and they'd say, some boys have been very naughty and they've like been messed up the bathroom. You know, I don't know if everybody else had that. And every time I would sit there and go, it's me, I've done it. I'm sure it must have been me. I can't remember doing it, but I bet I have. And I'd always get really scared. So I've never actually been falsely accused by anyone else. Only ever kind of by myself, because I thought I should take the blame for these bathroom mishaps.
Even though you had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Here's Lydia again.
On the third day, Joseph said to them, I am a God-fearing man. If you do as I say, you will live. If you really are honest men, choose one of your brothers to remain in prison. The rest of you may go home with grain for your starving families. But you must bring your youngest brother back to me. This will prove that you are telling the truth, and you will not die. To this they agreed. Speaking among themselves, they said, "Clearly we are being punished because of what we did to Joseph long ago. We saw his anguish when he pleaded for his life, but we wouldn't listen. That's why we're in this trouble." "Didn't I tell you not to sin against the boy?" Reuben asked. "But you wouldn't listen, and now we have to answer for his blood." Of course, they didn't know that Joseph understood them, for he had been speaking to them through an interpreter. Now he turned away from them and began to weep. When he regained his composure, he spoke to them again. Then he chose Simeon from among them and had him tied up right before their eyes. Joseph then ordered his servants to fill the men's sacks with grain, but he also gave secret instructions to return each brother's payment at the top of the sack. He also gave them supplies for their journey home. So the brothers loaded their donkeys with the grain and headed home. But when they stopped for the night and one of them opened his sack to get grain for his donkey, he found his money at the top of his sack. "Look," he exclaimed to his brothers, "my money has been returned. It's here in my sack." Then their hearts sank. Trembling, they said to each other, "What has God done to us?"
I'm not really sure what this means, but I reckon it means to have a fear of God giving you bad things, bad choices.
I remember once at church, our pastor was talking about the song "What a Beautiful Name It Is" by Hillsong, and he wanted to get the point across that although God is awesome, he is beautiful, and he is wonderful, he is also to be feared.
To be honest, this is a question that I certainly used to struggle with quite a lot, because I thought, well, God loves me, so why should I fear him?
You're scared of him telling you to say something bad and you have to do it, giving bad thoughts, something like that.
So I think to be God-fearing is to remember God's power and remember our position with him.
Actually, the biggest reason we should probably fear God is because he's all-powerful.
That whilst he loves us, we are also small beings. We can never fully understand God's power.
And if one day I just sort of think, well, you know what, this Christianity business isn't for me any longer, I might stop myself and think, well, hold on, I'm not a good person. And if I stand before him without the righteousness of Jesus, I'm not getting into heaven.
When we put our faith in God, he is for us, and therefore nothing else can be against us.
Hi. So what do you think about the God-fearing thing? What do you think when Joseph was like, "I'm a God-fearing man"? Like, what was he actually on about?
I think God-fearing is about like being respectful, about being in awe of God, about thinking, "Whoa, God is amazing." Having this kind of respect about how big and powerful and amazing God is.
Yeah. Rather than just treating him like
I don't think
like a pal.
Sure, I think we can do that, but we have to also realise that he's God.
Yeah.
But that's not that we're not to be afraid of him. It's about just being like, whoa, God is so huge, and I'm me, and just remember.
So sort of like the guys were saying, it is about realising our position, like Sophie said. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. All right, cool. So here's the next section with Lydia again. Thanks, Lydia.
When the brothers came to their father, Jacob, in the land of Canaan, they told him everything that had happened to them. The man who was governor of the land spoke very harshly to us, they told him. He accused us of being spies, scouting the land. But we said, we are honest men, not spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of one father. One brother is no longer with us, and the youngest is at home with our father in the land of Canaan. Then the man who was governor of the land told us, "This is how I will find out if you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me, and take grain for your starving families and go on home. But you must bring your youngest brother back to me. Then I will know you are honest men and not spies. Then I will give you back your brother, and you may trade freely in this land." As they emptied out their sacks, there in each man's sack was the bag of money he had paid for the grain. The brothers and their father were terrified when they saw the bags of money. Jacob exclaimed, "You are robbing me of my children. Joseph is gone. Simeon is gone, and now you want to take Benjamin too. Everything is going against me." Then Reuben said to his father, "You may kill my 2 sons if I don't bring Benjamin back to you. I'll be responsible for him, and I promise to bring him back." But Jacob replied, "My son will not go down with you. His brother Joseph is dead, and he is all I have left. If anything should happen to him on your journey, you would send this grieving, white-haired man to the grave."
Yes, I do find it pretty easy to trust God when things are important to me.
I think this question is another big fat "it depends."
Trusting God is always something I've struggled with. I think throughout my teens I found it really difficult to see the pain and suffering around me, and wondered how I could ever trust God with such important things if they could just be taken away so easily.
Like a few times some things have been really important to me, and I've trusted him, I've learned to believe in him.
If I've been, drawing near to God, seeking him out and feeling really close to him, then I say likely, yeah, it does feel quite easy to even trust him with things that are really important.
As I've gone through school, travelled a little and worked my way through university, I have noticed the blessings amongst the pain. I've been supported through some really difficult times by lovely friends, amazing family and a lovely boyfriend, and I know that all of this is because of God.
But if I haven't been seeking God, or I feel really far away from him, then it's not as easy to trust him, especially the really important things.
So I know that he's going to choose the right thing. If he doesn't, then he will make it right later on in life.
So I don't think anyone finds it easy to trust God, and I think it's a lifelong challenge.
Hello, so we are moving on to our second to last bit where we give you guys a bit of time to think about what you might give up, what you might change up, and what you might take up.
Yeah, so I say this every time, but the reason we keep it in is because we think that in our experience, when you open up a Bible and you start looking at it, you start asking questions about it and wondering who God is, it's one of the key ways that God speaks to us is through reading the Bible and talking it through with people that are doing the same thing. So we just give you like 4 minutes to have a little think and think, is there anything that really stuck out to me this week that it might be that God is saying to me? Other times you won't have anything. You might not have anything quite a lot of the time, and that's totally fine, but we just wanted to make sure we always had the opportunity for you to think back and go, man, what's the stuff I might want to remember as a result of what we've looked at this evening. So let's do that now. last thing we always do at Central Cell Online is to give you guys a chance to pray together in your youth groups. Now, this would be specific to you guys, and it'll be led by your youth leader. You might just want to pray for one individual in the group, you might want to pray for each other, or you might want to pray for a situation in the world that's important to you.
Yeah, and if you're not used to praying, then that's totally fine. You might want to give it a try this time, or you might just want to be quiet, which is fine.
Yeah. Also, remember, if the time's ticking down and you're running out of time, just feel free to pause the video and come back to us when you're done.
of our session this evening. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, just remember as well, if you've been watching this on your own, in the comfort of your own home, but you'd like to hook into a youth group, that would be brilliant. You can register using the links in the description below, and we will hook you up with a youth group.
So next week we will continue to look at Joseph, and we will be looking at Genesis 44, 45 and 50.
Yes, and remember, if you'd like to answer questions for us for Central Stead Online, that would be excellent. Even if you've never been to church before and you're not even really sure what it's all about, we'd especially love to hear from you guys. But thank you again to Lydia and Sophie and Harry and Sophia for doing the readings and the videos for us tonight. That's been absolutely excellent. Thank you again for being with us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.